30 hauntingly scary moments witnessed, according to Reddit. Number 30. Veterinarian here. I used to work emergency shifts at nights, and one time, a lady phoned in saying that her dog was bleeding from her nose. I advised them to come down immediately. Although they didn't sound super distressed about it, only a little concerned. I go to unlock the practice and the car pulls up. The lady and her husband are there. The lady comes out of the car and is smiling, saying thank you for coming out. She then goes around to the boot where the dog was and lets out this soul-destroying scream when she opens the door. I ran over, and all I could see was this poor spaniel in a sea of blood. Literally, the whole boot was covered in it. It turns out that a vessel in the dog's lung had eroded, and it basically bled out through his respiratory tract on the drive over. The dog was already dead. I had never heard such tragic screams in my life, and it will haunt me for the rest of my days. I spent 2 hours with the poor family consoling them and reminiscing about their dog as he was in life. It was so sad. I have never been so disturbed by a single noise in my life. And I was the woman who started shrieking. As I was when the woman started shrieking. It was such a shock. Oh, damn. Number 29. Well, actually 31, because some of these are deleted, so I've gone below a little bit. Number 31. My group of friends like to play this game called Run. We would play late at night, starting around 1 a.m., when the streets would be empty. Our town is very small, and we'd walk down to Main Street and stand around outside the post office or grocery store. We'd hang out, talking and bullshitting until the local police officer would drive by. We'd stand there just long enough for him to see us, and then we'd all scatter and run in different locations. The cop would chase us through the town for the rest of the night, as long as we stopped if he turned his lights and sirens on, and we wouldn't get into trouble. We did this all the time, and the cops seemed to enjoy the sport. Sometimes they would even get out of the car and pursue on foot. It was exhilarating and so much fun. Anyway, one night we were playing this game until around 4 a.m. The birds start singing and the sky starts turning gray, and we decide to head home. As we're walking along a road parallel to the main highway, we hear this huge boom. We thought a bomb had gone off. We ran as fast as we could to where the sound had come from. We get to the local auto part store and see that a truck had plowed right into the side of it. There weren't any police or emergency services there yet, and this was before cell phones. So, one of my friends sprinted off to the nearest house to call 911 while the rest of us cautiously approached the vehicle to see if the driver was okay. I can't even describe what we saw. It was like the bottom part of this guy stayed sitting in the driver's seat, but his top half had just sort of shifted over to the passenger seat. He He was in two pieces. I remember thinking how weird it seemed because it all looked so normal. I mean, not normal, obviously, but in movies, blood and guts seem to a little surreal, stylized. And this was just, his mangled body was just sitting there. I'm not sure why it shocked me so much. It's not as if ominous music and mood lighting appeared around every dead body in real life. I need to get some mood lighting for these streams. A few seconds later, the tribal police from a casino 40 minutes away pull up with their sirens blaring. A few minutes after the police and the ambulances and the fire department start to arrive. Apparently, this guy had stolen some money from the casino. The tribal police had been chasing him, probably cursed his ass good, just kidding. But he ended up getting ahead of them. It had been raining, and there is a descent curve in the road by the auto parts store, and this guy had drifted over the curb and slammed sideways into the building. The really disturbing part was how the entire freaking town came out to gawk at the incident. It took them hours to get the guy's body out of the vehicle, and people were camped out on every lawn and sidewalk trying to catch a glimpse of the body. At one point, a few volunteers grabbed a bunch of sheets and tarps to hold up around the scene, and then people started going up on rooftops so they could see from above. This guy had died in a really horrific and brutal way, and all people cared about was seeing his corpse. Now here's the dangerous part. I definitely remember this story. But with Reddit, you don't know if it's something you've read before, or if it's just a story that's being reposted. So, we'll continue, and hope that this isn't the same list. Number 30. During Katrina, I lived just outside of Jackson, MS. My grandmother and cousin that lived on the coast had come up to stay with us. We figured that we'd be fine since no hurricane had done very much that north. The storm had picked up pretty bad, and we were in the carport looking at the pine trees across the street bend. We kept saying how they were about to fall. We went back inside, and I started to listen to music on my CD player pretty loud, and out of nowhere, I see something pink and foamy fall from the ceiling and land on my cousin's face. She screams louder than I've ever heard anyone scream before, and I look up to my dad and see him mouth run. I get up, look behind me, and see a tree branch not 1 foot behind me, where my head had just been, sticking through the window. The giant oak tree in our backyard had fallen on our house. The only reason I'm alive is that the tree was forked and fell in just the right way to wedge itself in our chimney. This sounds familiar. Oh my God. This sounds familiar. Let's go up again. Number 29. One time I got some bread stuck in the toaster, so I unplugged it, stuck a knife in, and really got it in there to get it out. After I finished, I found out that I had unplugged the microwave and not the toaster. Yes, I know it was dumb. Natural selection at work. Holy shit. The real question is if I have indeed read this. I want someone to tell me definitively whether I have or haven't. These sound familiar. Number 28. There was one time my sister and we were waiting for the bus when suddenly a man from the other side of the road started shouting at us. He's dirty, dressed in rags, and he looked very unhinged and angry. There were cars passing by, but it didn't matter to him as he started dodging them, making his way towards us. Luckily, the bus arrived and we got inside as soon as the doors opened. We told the driver to close it immediately, and when the man arrived and started banging on the door. The driver got the drift and we left. The last thing we saw of him, he was still shouting and running after us. Everything happened so fast we were just in shock for a while. It was scary because we don't know him, but for some reason, he wanted to attack us. Drugs, my dude. Drugs. Number 27. Shit. Shouldn't Hilda Hernandez have been subscribed already? You cuck. Number 27. My rape. Oh wait, Hilda may be unsubscribing, then resubscribing to click the bell notification in the hopes that it will make her notifications work again. Because sometimes that works for people. Number 27. My rape. Oh boy. My rapist was someone I trusted, a former professor of mine. Before raping me the first time, he choked me until I was on the verge of passing out, and as I was taking what I thought my last breaths to be, and trying to stay calm, tears involuntarily started falling out of my eyes. When he saw that, he started cackling evilly, let go of my neck, and got this totally inhuman look in his eyes. He told me he'd killed someone once, and went on to describe the details. He also told me, I like it when you're scared. I could have killed you. He went on to brutally beat and rape me that night, and 2 other times before I got the courage to report it to the police and the legal system. That was 3 years ago, and although my PTSD has become much, much more manageable, that is the moment that I still have nightmares about. Just that look in his eyes and the cackle. I'll never forget that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Number 26. My brother drank a bottle of cologne one time, and when I got home he was nodding off as if he was on heroin and slurring his words. Then he passed out, and I had to call 911 while my parents laid him down and made sure that he was breathing. The paramedics got there, and I watched as they carried him down the stairs in a gurney and took him off. Number 23. In 7th to 8th grade, my mom found out my first crush was a black dude. Uh-oh. Now it's really getting creepy in here. Don't forget to like. Oh, shit. So, as she is ironing, she threatens to burn me with the iron. I was in the tub, and my mom grabbed a hold of my neck and tried to drown me. Being a skinny 90-pound kid, I did my best to fight her off, which wasn't much. Finally, I managed to claw her hard enough to draw blood, and that made her let go. I jumped out of the tub and ran with just a towel to my room. That night was the worst beating of my life. Holy shit. Someone says, Jesus, sorry about that. How is your relationship with your mom nowadays? Better, but I hide a lot of who I am. I don't want to be a disappointment. How pathetic is that? Jesus Christ. What a monster of a mother. Jesus Christ. And the chick don't want to be a disappointment. Oh my God. Number 22. I once witnessed the aftermath of a bar fight. One small drunk guy kept pushing a larger, sober guy for no apparent reason. The large guy knocked him out with one punch. But from what I heard, it was a vicious punch. I found the man laying between 2 pool tables. He hit his head pretty bad when he fell back and it was bleeding. He was completely out. wouldn't respond to any of my attempts to wake him as he waited on the ambulance. The way he was breathing was the most disturbing thing I have ever seen. His body was on survival mode to keep his lungs pumping air. It was hard, forceful breathing, blood pouring from his mouth because several of his feet had been knocked. Several of his teeth had been knocked out. Damn, you knocked the feet clean out his mouth. When EMS finally came and took him away, I couldn't even look at him any longer. Just to see someone in such a helpless state. The poor man even pissed himself. I found out later that he had to be life flighted to a larger hospital because he had been bleeding from the brain. But he apparently recovered and still up to his old ways. I never want to see someone like that ever again. Yeah, if y'all ever see somebody get knocked out super fucking hard, you know what I mean? Yeah, boy, the kind of breathing that they do is really unsettling. It's unnatural. It's like really fast, and like it sounds like they're fake snoring, but like they're in fucking trouble. You know what I mean? Go watch some fight videos on YouTube where somebody get knocked out the wrong way. You know what I'm talking about? Their body is in distress, you know. Number 21. My roommate and I were playing Battlefield 2 when his brother walked into the room, pulled out a handgun, and shot himself in the face. It went in his mouth and slid up alongside his jawline and out of his eye. Bits of eye, brain, and teeth went flying out in a pinkish cloud, and he fell backward against the wall, still very much alive. We secured the weapon and applied pressure on his face until the paramedics showed up. The worst part is, he lived. I no longer live in the city that this happened in, so I don't see him. But I've been told he's permanently retarded now. Forgive me. It's come to my attention that I have most certainly read through this list. Problematic. So, what I plan to do is try to get through what we have so far, and then see if we can search up something more. Understood? Ugh. Should I even do this considering I've already done it before? Number 20, scariest moment. I was about 16 or so, and on my way to help decorate for a school dance. A buddy and me decide to go get some snacks and drinks for everyone, and he's driving his hatchback Camaro. About halfway down the road, while heading back with the snacks, we are coming around a fairly sharp right curve, and halfway through the curve, a truck comes blasting forward half on our side of the road. My friend swerves and overcorrects a few times until we are heading semi-straight on the road, not realizing we are still sliding a bit towards the ditch. He tries to save it, and we hit the ditch on the driver's side, still moving fairly quickly. The last thing I remember before blacking out was us in midair, careening into the ditch, and the car was mangled and upside down facing the opposite direction we were heading, and both of us are hanging upside down in our seats. He's still unconscious, and his head is tilted sideways against the roof. I had to crawl through the broken window of the hatchback because the doors were crushed, and there was a man standing across the road who just happened to live right across from where the crash happened. We said we hit the ditch, flipped, and the top of the car was crushed on a tree before rolling back down into the ditch upside down. I had a mild concussion, and he cracked a bone in his neck, but wasn't paralyzed. We were lucky as well. I still get nervous when riding as a passenger. Most bone-chilling. The day I had to use all of the training in CPR, I never imagined I'd ever need. Working at a grocery store, I heard a woman screaming about something in one of the aisles. After, woman comes running towards the front, panicked, and asking if anyone knows CPR as some guy collapsed and wasn't breathing. I closed my lane with people still in the line and met a pharmacist who works there halfway to the guy. The two of us were the only ones who were trained in CPR, and we worked for about 30 minutes, switching out every few minutes when one of us got exhausted. A lady came back a few days later to the shop and told us that she was the relative of this and that he did not make it, but thanked us for trying so hard to keep him alive until the paramedics got there. I still remember it like it's fresh in my mind. Let's jump to one of the newer ones and kind of splice them in here. Let's try going down here. We can read from the top of these because we don't know how good they may be. I lived in a downtown area of my city for 3 years with my husband. One night after closing down our favorite bar, we decide to walk down the street and get a couple of slices of pizza. On the way there, we see a girl who is messed up. She literally cannot walk, literally seems like she's falling down drunk, trying to walk down the street. Her head is rolling from side to side as she is walking. Just picture a 110-pound rag doll trying to stand. Then we realized that she is digging in her bag. Like she's looking for keys. So I stop her and I ask if she's okay, and she just keeps going, "I have to get away, I have to get away." That's when we notice the trail of blood on the sidewalk behind her. Her neck is bright red, like she's being choked, and her lips are swollen. We call 911. She finally takes a deep breath and says that she thinks she was drugged, but knows she was raped. Before we can even get her calmed down enough to tell us her name, a guy with a big scratch on his face and blood on his shirt comes walking up and starts saying she is his wife, and he needs to get her home. My husband stepped in and says, "No, I think we'll find out where she needs to go from her." The guy tries to swing at my husband, who knocks him on his ass. My husband pins him down. The girl starts seizing. So then we're on the sidewalk. My husband has the rapist pinned to the ground. I've got the girl head in my lap, hoping she doesn't die, while we wait for the ambulance to get there. What I always found the most disturbing wasn't the evil that drove the man to rape that woman. It was that 10 people gathered around us in the course of the exchange, and no one offered to help. But one did take a video. I'm surprised there was only one. In today's day and age, it would be much like that one episode of Black Mirror. You seen that episode of Black Mirror, y'all? Yeah, high five, y'all, if you seen that episode of Black Mirror. Like the video, okay? As we continue down, I feel like I've read this before. My dad died of cirrhosis of the liver. It's not a pretty way to go. The worst part about it is that when the liver stops working the way it should, it causes a buildup of ammonia in the body that can severely affect the brain. My dad was a former Marine and was always a very level-headed guy. So when his mind started to go, it was terrifying. I can remember one day, him and I were alone and he suddenly started talking in gibberish. He stood up, walked to the middle of the room, and started peeing his pants. I asked him what he was doing and he said, "What are you doing in the bathroom? I'm trying to pee. Get out." We were in the living room. A minute later, he collapsed on the floor and I had to call 911. It might not sound creepy to some, but seeing your parent like that is awful. I've read this before too. Son of a bitch. Returning back to the first one. Number 19. Watching as a nice nurse tried more and more desperately and in vain to find my unborn son's heartbeat at 32 weeks. Number 18. Both my mother and grandmother worked in the medical field. My grandmother told my mother this story when she was a teenager. My grandmother was an X-ray technician, and they would often bring in inmates for emergencies, and my grandmother had to scan a man in full restraints. He was a violent inmate known for biting. He was wheeled in wearing a face guard, Hannibal Lecter style, and wouldn't speak, only try to thrash around and get against the restraints. Apparently, when he noticed that there was a woman in the room, my grandmother, he made eye contact, bared his teeth, and the mask stopped the jaws from moving, and he would only say bite, bite in a deep, slow tone. So now that phrase really bothers my mom, and is a good way to send chills down my family's spines. Number 17. Was goofing around, free climbing some boulders on the top of a gorge with friends, and I slipped. I remember rolling and rolling, coming finally to a stop about 40 feet from the edge. It still freaks me out. Sometimes I dream about it. It also freaks me out thinking about my friends and if I had gone over. Let's dive into one of the newer ones. Preferably something I haven't read before. Preferably. Man. I was driving home Christmas Eve 2008 when I got off the freeway. My exit went under and around the freeway, and there was another overpass that crossed the exit. As I took my exit, I watched an SUV slide on the overpass above, flip over the guardrail, and land on its roof about 40 feet below. Now, the worst part of this, besides the fact that it was Christmas, was that when the car hit the ground, the rear window smashed and a box came flying out of the back. It was one of those boxes with air holes and handles that they give you when you adopt a cat. I ran to try and get the guy out of the car, but he was dead on impact. I checked the box, and the cat was bleeding, but alive. The accident blocked both lanes of the off-ramp, so I was stuck there until the police and fire came to clear the scene. It was around 1:30 a.m., and there was hardly anyone on the road, so I had to explain to the officers what I had seen. For me, the hardest part was not being able to get over the fact that this guy was probably out getting his kid's big Christmas present, and instead his child had to wake up on Christmas and find out his dad was dead. Gnarly. Number 3. My mother had my father record my birth on video. When I was 5, I asked my mom where babies come from. Without a word, she put in that video, made me watch the whole fucking thing, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Any more questions?"
The ingredients in Clorox bleacher water: sodium hypochlorite, sodium chloride, sodium carbonate, sodium chlorate, sodium hydroxide, and sodium polyacrylate. Wee woo 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 penis.
Another intellectually inspired donation and message from Jesus. The stream thanks you. As we return to the initial list, we're at number 16. When I was around 8 years old, I got on a roller coaster at Six Flags in Houston. It had those foam-covered bars that locks over your shoulders and a small seat to sit on, but the feet dangled. About a minute into the ride, it starts twisting. I slip halfway out of the seat and almost out of the seatbelt. That was supposed to be checked for security beforehand, but wasn't tight enough. I spent the entire ride digging my little nails into the foam padding on the shoulder bars, with the edge of the seat digging into my back. My mom was sitting next to me and noticed what was happening. All she could reach was my shirt and held on to that for the ride. I haven't been on a roller coaster since. Well, it's not the coaster's fault. Surely there are people who should have been son of a bitch, in charge of this shit. This is pretty sad. Well, number 15. For the abusive asshole that he was, my dad did go through some shit. Not sure how the conversation came about, but my mom ended up telling me this story. Back in 1992, a lot of people didn't give a fuck about seatbelt safety, and even actively rallied against it. Well, one young mother learned the hard way why wearing seatbelts is important. My dad drives a semi-truck as a cross-country delivery man. He was cruising down the highway when all of a sudden, this car randomly swerves out of its lane into a head-on collision with my dad's truck. If you've ever seen the aftermath of a car-on semi-collision, you know how this is going to turn out. Miraculously, the mother lived. Her mother, the little girl's grandma, died. Perhaps from the impact or maybe a heart attack. But the worst part was that the mother wasn't considerate enough to buckle up her 5-year-old daughter in the back of the car. And upon impact, the girl went flying through the windshield and didn't hit the ground for a solid 10 feet. Dead on impact. And now this woman has to live for the rest of her life knowing that one simple inaction is the reason her daughter is dead. Wear your seatbelt. Wear your seatbelt. Number 14. This is a bit different. The most scared I've ever been, and probably the closest I've been to death. I was by myself, riding a motorcycle in a spirited fashion, on a remote forested mountain that is famous among motorcycle riders. I came around a blind but high-speed corner at about 70 miles per hour. Suddenly I found myself confronted with a herd of about 20 elk crossing in front of me. I literally couldn't see the road on the other side of the herd. I'm talking a solid wall of 600 plus animals that are over 6 feet tall. I had enough time to close my eyes, and that's about it. At the speed, it would have taken over 200 feet to stop, and I had about 20 feet and no clear line through. Somehow, and I will never know for sure how, I got through totally unscathed. I remember hearing their hooves on the pavement. I pulled over, looked back to see the last of them running into the woods. I turned off my bike, got off, sat on the side of the road for about 30 minutes until I stopped shaking. Then I rode home very slowly. I haven't ridden that road since, or without a helmet camera. Helmet camera. I should get a camera for the dashboard. That'd be cute. Number 13. This happened a month ago when I picked up my sister from a party. I was driving home. Along the way, I see this black car doing about 15 miles per hour, flashing brake lights, turning on the left indicator signal, but making a right. Impatient, I decide to illegally cut him off and just go home. But after I did it, he begins to speed up and flash his fog lights, signaling me to pull over. I just kept driving, being creeped out. My house was a couple of miles away, with a lot of turns, but the guy kept tailgating me and pursuing me, which was getting pretty scary. I literally drive 50 miles in the radius of maybe 10 miles trying to get him off me. I finally made a left turn where he couldn't follow or risk hitting another car, and I quickly pulled over and turned off all my lights, only to see the car slowly drive by as I hold my breath, holding he doesn't spot me. After about 15 minutes, I look around and slowly drive home. My sister was drunk and also asleep, so she basically didn't even know what happened. Drive to a fucking police station, you stupid bitch. Nigga, what? I wish a nigga would. Nigga, bitch, I wish a nigga would. Call the police, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, here's what you do. Y'all text and drive all the time. Don't fucking play. Okay, when Pokemon Go was out, you should have been in training. You should be a fucking around on your phone while driving master at this point. Okay, this is a life-threatening situation. You pull out your phone, you figure out on Google Maps where the closest police station is. You call that motherfucker. You bribe this nigga with a donut to come stand outside the fucking police station because you're being followed, you know, and he might just try to keep going when you're done now. Okay. And what you want to definitely do is when that's happening, you know what I'm talking about? You on the phone, you headed to the police station, get some video. So if this dude does try to just pull off when you reach the fucking police station, you got some video of this dude following that ass. Following that ass. Oh boy. As we go over to this one. I was working in the Empire State Building a few years ago. I was on break and decided to take a walk around the block. It was a little rainy, so the 34th Street was pretty empty for a change. I was smoking a cigarette by one of the benches when a body fell from the sky. Somebody had jumped from the top and landed about 10 to 15 feet in front of me. Nigga, what? The impact made a terrible sound, a combination of cracking and splattering. There was a lot of blood and the body had exploded a little. I had never seen a dead person up close aside from funerals, and it was pretty disturbing. He was alive a minute earlier and now he was smeared on the ground. I don't like heights very much anymore. Number 5. I went to a flea market with my family. Randomly, we decided to visit my grandma. Upon arrival, the house was on fire. Me and my dad ran in to see my grandma charred black and on fire in her rocker. She fell asleep, smoking, and basically lit herself on fire. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit. God. Let's keep going up this one. Holy bing bong. Number 11. School shooting at my high school. I was fine, but when the police evacuated us out of the school, they kinda walked us through the area where it started. There was a lot of blood pretty much everywhere. They hadn't moved one of the bodies out either, and had covered him up with a blanket. But we knew. That shit sucked. The image of the school still sticks with me, and it's been almost 20 years. What? Number 10. The story of my grandmother. I guess he used to drink a lot, like way too much. One night he hit the bar on the way home from work and then drove home after it closed. The next morning he goes to his car and there's a mangled tricycle somehow wedged in the grill and bumper. I guess my grandparents called the police and hospital to see if he hit a kid. No reports, no blood on the car. Luckily he hadn't hit anyone. Just the tricycle. He never drank again. The look on my face. Okay. Last year I came across a boy getting ready to jump off the top of my apartment building. I tried to talk to him for 30 minutes, trying to convince him not to jump. I failed. Number 7. Back when I worked at my local movie theater, I witnessed probably the strangest, most grotesque, yet hilarious thing go down. So it was the matinee shift, and it was a slow day, as usual. A couple walk in, and they were an overweight couple. But the woman was horrifyingly obese, like I was concerned that if she jumped in the air somehow, she'd get stuck. What? But anyways, they proceed to their movie, and about a half hour later, I see her briskly walking outside. Keep in mind, she's about the weight and size of 2 black bears. So her brisk walk probably took as much energy as my all-out sprint. Interesting. So now, I was extremely curious, since it was slow and my manager was there, and saw her briskly walking out too. He actually permitted me to go outside and kind of investigate what the fuck was going on. So, I'm hiding behind someone or some cars in the parking lot and see that she went to her car. She squeezed her double black bear body in there, and to my horror/amusement, she began stripping? No. I kind of forced myself to look because it wasn't like I could make out a distinct woman's body, just a bunch of fat rolls. So I watched, and once she finished taking her shirt off, she turned on the radio, rolled down the windows, got back out of the car, and proceeded to perform some shit like a rain dance or something. I was stunned, as I never would have thought any human would have the nerve to do this, especially a morbidly obese woman. So since I was extremely confused about the situation, I thought I would go back in and have my manager give the police a ring and tell them what was up. Once they made their way to the theater, they dealt with the still dancing woman, don't know how the fuck she had the energy to keep dancing, and got her husband out of the theater. But here's the best part. When the police informed him of what was happening, his response was, "Oh no, not again." Nigga, what? Not again? Obese woman takes shirt off in a movie theater parking lot and performs a rain dance? I don't have time for what is that? What was that story? Number 9. Creepiest moment. Patrolling an empty warehouse and my radio goes off and it's like a sort of demonic gibberish. Then the light shut off. I remember thinking, oh fuck, no, I ain't going out on a horror movie tonight. I beelined for the front door and would have had to leave anyways to use the phone to call for the power outage. Later, I figured it was probably an electric issue of some sort, causing radio interference and a power outage. Worked alone during those hours, so not a prank from somewhere else. Oh, that's it? Is it? That's your story? You Pringle eating shit stain? Get to that next one. Number 8. Scariest moment? Nodding off behind the wheel, just finished working for 14 hours. The only thing that saved me was the car who laid on their horn as I cut them off. It saved me from running straight into a barricade. The creepiest moment? Watching my parents take their last breaths. More of a death rattle or a wheeze. In the hospital after fighting small cell lung cancer, stage 4. This happened 5 years apart, by the way. I have nightmares and chills because I can still hear/imagine it. Oh boy. Number 7, seeing my sister at her worst when she was anorexic. It looked like her bones, including her skin, were about to pop out. Oh shit, you know what I just noticed? That my sound has been delayed behind it. I apologize. I'll explain why that has to be a certain way later. Number 6. A victim of severe road rage incident, I am a small 26-year-old woman in Mazda 3. At roughly 7 a.m. in the winter on a mountain county back roads, a giant Ford 350 decides I'm going too slow. He starts accelerating, first like he's going to ram me, then at the last moment passes me illegally on a turn. He gets in front of me and then slams on his brakes. I slam on mine and narrowly miss hitting him. We are sitting there for a minute when he starts revving his engine. He goes into reverse and tries hitting my car. I'm screaming and go into reverse. We are both now driving down the mountain in reverse, and I use my Bluetooth to call 911. No, you didn't. They can't make anything out. No, I remember this garbage. Nope. No. We don't do that. No, we don't do that. Number 8. I'm going out of a strip club at night, and a man walks up to the edge of the parking lot onto the sidewalk. This road is a highway that goes through town, and drivers routinely travel in excess of 45 miles per hour limit. The man is standing on the sidewalk for approximately 15 minutes. He is staring at the oncoming traffic in a way that suggests that he is waiting to cross the street. His behavior doesn't seem out of the ordinary since there is a 7-Eleven on the other side of the road. He probably needs a Gatorade or a Big Bite, I'm guessing. Suddenly, a wild Chevrolet Yukon Denali appears in the right-hand lane of traffic. As the Denali approaches, the man, for reasons unbeknownst to me, proceeds to execute a flying crossbody takedown move into the front bumper of the Denali, much akin to something Eddie Guerrero would do in WWE Monday Night Raw. Eddie Guerrero. Boy, that's a dated reference. I'm surprised this doesn't say WWF. Okay. The Denali slams on its brakes. The driver gets out in a panic, frantically checking for signs of life on the amateur traffic wrestler. The police arrive a few minutes later. They almost immediately put a white sheet over the deceased man. The story in the paper ruled it a suicide. My heart goes out to the last stripper whom the man was with. That must have been one terrible lap dance to lead someone to throw themselves into a car. What the hell is this? Batman sent me this thing today. It was great. It was like I already forgot it. Let me look at it. Oh, it was like a picture of Milhouse from The Simpsons, but he had long hair like Sorry, he had long hair like Tommy Wiseau in the room, and then it says, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." Oh boy, you get it. As we continue up to number 7. Back when I worked at my local movie theater, I witnessed probably the strangest, most grotesque, yet hilarious thing go down. It was a matinee shift. Nigga, wait a minute. You on the wrong thread, boy. I was about to say, I'm reading this fat lady shit again. Not again. Not again. See, because contextually that's... Okay, never mind. Number 4. I know a guy who worked Ground Zero. The only story he would ever tell me was that he was digging through a pile, grabbed a boot, and a foot fell out. My bone-chilling moment was a more of several minutes than a single moment. I did a fire investigation where the mom murdered her 2 kids, then lit herself on fire. She lined up all of the kids' toys, drawings, cards, and photos throughout the house, leading from where she killed them to where she killed herself? That's some fucking horror movie shit right there, baby. I'm just gonna save that one. God damn. What the fuck? I still get chills thinking about that path. I will forever remember the cards saying, "I love you, Mom," the family drawings of stick figures and the kids, their pictures as they got older. I've been on several fatalities since then, but that one will always stick with me. What makes a parent kill their kids? Holy shit. Holy shit. Number 3. Can't believe I've done this before. That's the worst part. The worst part is that I've done this before. What's this? It's a comic strip. We don't see a lot of these. I wish that I could talk to you. I'd like you to know I appreciate all the things you've done for me. Even this. We've had a lot of fun, gone on many great adventures. I still remember the sunny days I felt like I could run forever. Now I'm old, I'm tired, and I hurt. It's time. I'm so glad you're here with me. I'm not afraid. Scratch behind my ear where I like it, and everything will be all right. I wish that I could talk to you, because I know you're sad, and I'd really love to tell you, thanks for everything. I had a wonderful time. Oh, with the spooky music. Now, the real question is how I've fucking read all these things when I thought they were the first times I ever opened them. Let's get into the second and then the final one on this one, intriguingly enough. I work in a mental hospital. That's not what that says. Okay, that's not what that says. That's what you wanted it to say. So why don't you try that again? You're trying to make it more interesting. According to what you like. That's crazy. Stop being crazy. But I am crazy. Who said that? I work in a mental... You're saying it again? Don't do that. Don't be crazy. You're crazy. I work in mental health, particularly with people who have extensive suicide or suicidal ideation, multiple psychiatric hospitalizations. Despite working with this population for close to 10 years, I've only had one client successfully commit suicide. They poured gasoline all over themselves and set themselves on fire. There are no words for how extremely terrifying that is to see. The worst part was they didn't immediately die. I will hear them say, "That wasn't what I wanted," for the rest of their life. Aaron Deer's name being blue just doesn't look right, man. Keep trying to tell you guys. I don't know. Just doesn't look right. We may need to fix the... No, that's what I'm talking about. Let's jump back over to that other one. I saw my stillborn son. He was 27 weeks. He came out tiny, slightly deteriorated, and lifeless. Oh my God. Number 10, broken baby. I worked as a paralegal for a law firm. Before graduating from law school, 2 of the attorneys did court-appointed representation of children in child abuse cases. One case shocked the lawyers that had seen everything. 18-month-old baby suffered long-term insane abuse by the father, broke about every bone in the baby's body. The photo evidence was insane. I couldn't even look at all of them. The baby somehow survived. He'd be about 22 years old today. Oh my God. Number 12, my cousin tried to kill herself in front of me about 5 or 6 years ago. She came home at her house and sleeping on her sofa while there was a moor fire in my area. I have asthma, and at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and crying but not sobbing, more like a mix of wailing and whimpering, proceeded to the medicine cabinet in the kitchen. That's when I started to get worried. I asked her what she was doing, and she wouldn't talk to me. So I went upstairs and told my aunt what was going on, but she couldn't have given a flying fuck. I came back down to see my cousin washing down tramadol and codeine with vodka, and starting to get slower and slower. So I proceed to call an ambulance, and I told them that my cousin was trying to take an overdose. At this point, she started to slip in and out of consciousness, so I picked her up, put her on the sofa, and tried to make her sick, but she wasn't having any of it, and tried to hit me to keep me away. The worst part of this was that I could see her deteriorating in front of me. Thankfully, the paramedics turned up about 20 minutes later, took over, and they got her to drink a charcoal solution and took her to the hospital for a stomach pump. She ended up voluntarily staying a week in the psych ward for observation, but what really annoyed me was that my aunt tried to take credit for helping her, when she really didn't give a fuck, and I was the one who did it all. Thankfully, my cousin is still going strong, and have not been any attempts since. How sick is that, guys? That the aunt tried to take credit, dude. What a fat cow. Oh, what a fat cow. Oh, what a fat cow. Oh, that fat cow. Oh, that fat cow. What a fat cow. One more from this list, and we get the hell out of here. Number 13. I was standing in the street just next to a parked car. When I looked at its window, there was an old man inside, 70 years old maybe, looking at me and jerking it. I'm a 19-year-old boy. Oh my god. Ugh. Oh my god, that really made me grip my teeth. That's nasty. That is nasty. Chuckster said, that's a really sweet memento. What a sick prick. I'm kidding. I know he's not talking about this. But it would be funnier if he was. Alright, look, one more from this one. English is not my mother language, so sorry for the grammar. I was once in love with a woman that had 2 children. 2.5 years and a 6-month-old. We started a relationship and I raised the kids like they were mine. 3 years later, I got hit by a car when I crossed the street. My leg was pretty messed up and I wasn't able to do the things that I used to. My girlfriend started to complain about her job and that she didn't want to work for her boss anymore. I told her that I was going to get a lot of insurance money from the accident and that with a little patience, we could open our own business. Man, I need to get a girl who gets some insurance money. You know what I'm talking about? Holla! I'm kidding. I managed to get her into an damn it. I came so close to...
Much love.
Aw, thank you, Prelude. That's so sweet. Much love to you, too. Much love to the Tom Allard. What the hell is Stripes posting? Oh my god, fucking ducks. Oh my god. I told her that I was going to get a lot of insurance money from the accident and that with a little patience we could open our own business. I managed to get her into an evening course so that she would have the papers to open a legit shop when we get the money. At that course, she met a guy. She kept this a secret for a few months while I was at home raising the kids because I couldn't work with a bad leg. When I got suspicious, she confessed it all, and I was so sad and angry that I took some clothes and left. We stayed in contact because of the kids. They thought I was their real daddy. And after a month, she opened a bar with that new guy. I arranged a meeting to see the kids, and she told me to come to the bar. I arrived a little early, and she wasn't back yet from picking up the kids from school. When I saw her arrive with them, I got up to welcome them. What happened next devastated me. Both children ran into the store yelling, "Daddy, Daddy," but they ran past me towards that new guy. That day something died inside me. I left immediately and never saw them again. I left the city and started a new life on the other side of the country. Good, you cuck. Pussy ass nigga. What kind of stupid ass monkey balls is this? Trace is crap. Look, I'm supposed to care. You think I'm supposed to give a damn? So with that, we're going to read the final one in this list, the one that we originally started on. So naturally, I feel inclined to thank all of you for being here. Thank my sponsors for being so sexually charged, as usual. Also thank my patrons, who just knock it out of the park every freaking month. How do you guys even manage to kick so much ass? But with that, I want to thank every one of you. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your sweet donations. Special thanks to Prelude and Jesus, of course. And number 1 on this list reads, I was on the jury for a trial of a 70-year-old drunk driver who hit and killed a motorcyclist after making an illegal turn. The police testified against him. It was pretty cut and dry. I go into deliberations after both parties rested, and one woman refuses to convict him on most serious charge because he's old. She concedes on other charges and refuses to switch because she's doing us all a favor by convicting us on lesser charges. Doing us a favor? Oh my god, this bitch. Incorrigible. We sit there for hours trying to convince her. Then a fellow male juror switches to the other side because he wants to go home. Someone else gets hungry, so they give up as well. Other people switch, and the jury came to a decision and can't convict him on the major crime. I won't forget seeing the wife of the motorcyclist cry. His parents in disbelief start to cry. His younger daughter, who just sat there quietly because of some bitch. And what a power trip it would have been for her to be the most important bitch, you know? Oh my god. You know where we should go? You guys have heard of Watch People Die, that I can't technically go to while we're on YouTube, right? God forbid. But have you heard of Watch People Survive? It's like your Watch People Die, except they don't die? So it's fine to show.
Gotta be added to that beautiful collage of Patreons as well, Heart.
Holy shit. Jesus, you're a patron as well? What a gangster. What a gangster, son. Aaron Deere says, what does it take for you to change my name, Kyle? I don't change your name, you do. Well, you want a title, don't you? I don't know. $30, dude. I'm kidding, 20. That's fine. Super Monkey says, oh damn, not a mod no more. Super Monkey, you were a mod? Super Monkey was a mod? I don't remember that. Why would I have unmodded somebody named Super Monkey? What could he have done wrong? Listen closely to me, guys. Watch People Survive. That's what's going on today. Female singer and Kurdish sniper in the battlefield. Yeah. Yeah, that bitch almost died. Guy saves 2 children from certain death. Oh, we've seen this. Ow. Ow. No. Wait, what's Aaron Deers' name on the sponsors? What's his name on there? Stripes is really asking if we can go to watch people cry. Is that a real subreddit? Jesus Christ, this guy is the luckiest man in the world. And he's completely fine. What the fuck? Look at that. Oh, Prelude.
7 days a week of work. I respect the grind.
Well, Prelude, thank you, my man. You know, I appreciate you in a way that it would be kind of gay if it wasn't a totally hetero appreciation. Wow, I'm all about that life. I can't believe this guy survived, though. Stripes really want to go to a subreddit called Watch People Cry, and that's the real question is, does it exist? You know? Does it exist? If we can dream it, in most cases it exists, does Watch People Cry exist? Oh my god. Did Stripes make this subreddit like 3 days ago? Ain't shit going on the subreddit. Stupid. Oh my god. I'm so mad that I saw that. Dodging machete attack? Oh my god. Ooh! Why are you out here attacking people with machetes, baby? Oh my god.
I miss courage.
Oh my god. I love that. It was just for the creepy list. You know what I mean? But if you guys miss courage so much, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. You guys don't know it, but you know, I have pretty much power over all of my channel's bullshit in a way where I really don't have to do anything to make everything be the way that I want it to be. Technically, if you guys donated right now, it would go back to the old. Shit, I thought somebody just donated. I was like, what the fuck? That was mega confusing. But yeah, no. If any of you did try to donate now, it would go back to the courage. Since you guys are all salty over the departure. Oh my god. You know how it is sometimes. You know how I do. Seems Hannah has sent me a photo of whom Aaron Deers is. His name used to be Red Lobster, some bullshit like that. Man. I forgot how many shiny Pikachus I caught recently. That's not something I can share with most people. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. Guys, I re-downloaded Overwatch. Like a loser. Oh, I've seen this one. They grab him before he kills himself. This isn't cute. Man, we want that watch people die, baby. Oh my god. That shrapnel could have killed that fool. Why was he standing that close? You see what I'm saying? Oh no. Two planes collide. I remember this from like a shitload of different angles, man. This is one of the most gnarly fucking videos on Reddit. That shit was wow, baby. Plane just blew the fuck up. Alright. When the urge to play Frogger is too strong. Oh boy. I remember this one guy that used to jump off of shit. He fucked up himself so hard that he's no longer doing that at all anymore, and was trying to like kickstart money for his like procedures or some shit. Unbelievable. You almost feel bad. Oh boy. Guys, I love you. And I feel like I'll catch you all soon. Arab guy survives from plane falling on glass pane. Oh my god. That shit could have sliced this bitch in half, son. He's like, well, I'm going back home. I'm going back. I'm sorry. I go this way now. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, Linda, you're asking me if I'm going to play a game. I think I'm going to fuck around in Overwatch just a little bit, but mainly just to stick my dick in the whole, you know, new loot boxes crap. But I don't care because they didn't bring the Junkrat that I want. Let me show you something. You guys know I play Junkrat. You've probably seen a stream of mine. You see this Junkrat? You see this Junkrat right here? Try to get a bigger picture of that. Let me open that in like its own thing. Who the hell made this? Why is Junkrat getting a devil skin and not May? Shut the hell up. Anyway, there it is. Demon Junkrat. This is in another one of Overwatch's. Well, it's not Overwatch. It's in another one of Blizzard's games called Heroes of the Storm, which is a game that has different heroes from all of Blizzard's properties. Your World of Warcraft, your fucking, your Diablo, your StarCraft. Is Diablo? I think so. Yeah. You know, your fucking Hearthstone, shit like that. Okay. But this character is not in the main Overwatch game yet, which kinda sucks. Neither is Deathwing Diva, which is perhaps one of the games, I admit it, you know, it's one of the most beautiful fucking skins for Diva. That's what her mech looks like. And here she is standing next to her mech. These are two skins that I've been whining about not being in the game forever. And they are still not in the game, so I mean, I could jump on Overwatch and play until my heart's content right now, but it's not gonna unlock shit for me, you know what I mean? Oh boy. Man. But guys, I really do love you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for liking it. You'll see me again tomorrow night at the same time, and hopefully you'll see me during the day before it's all over. Stay amazing. Snap me if you need me or you want to pass along a story or something like that. Because someday if I get enough of those, I'll just be able to read them all together. Ping pong. Let us go to the front page and see what the hell's going on, if anything. Oh, Danny McBride was not really making a Crocodile Dundee film. Good. That wouldn't have connected with anyone. Okay. North Korea calls for reunification with South Korea. No. State media in North Korea also said that Pyongyang would smash all challenges against reunification of the Korean Peninsula. Is this the geopolitical equivalent of date me or I'm gonna stab you? Somebody said what? So yeah, no, come on. Come on.
Permission to link in the chat the most brutal death I've ever seen?
You can do it after I end the stream. Love ya. See you later, my man. Thanks again. You're amazing. Stay amazing. Talk to you soon. Haha, later.